Oh man, one of those impromptu things with my buddy Scott, figuring we talk about dream clients and help everybody with this challenging thing because it's happening every day. I don't know about you, but everybody's, they're asking questions about this dream client thing, avatars, and really not clear about the differences between the avatar, the demographic thingies, the stuff that's taught out there, and the dream client. Like, what's the difference? So Scott and I were chatting today, as we do almost every day, and he says, "Bro, why don't we just go live, help some people out, answer some questions, talk about what dream clients are?" Right?
Yeah. I know, Joey, that next Thursday, the 9th of September, I believe, is that the correct date?
You know what? I am. It is the 9th of September. You and I are getting together for Dream Client Connection.
Right. Okay. My question to you is, you talked for a second that we've got the demographics, the psychographics, and age and who they are and income and all that stuff and where they live and what kind of car they drive and how many kids and all that stuff. You can go ad nauseum to find out all these, to get into their mind. That's not really getting into their mind, because that doesn't really go into what the dream client connection is all about. And that was my question for you is, first one, what's the difference between the avatar and the niche and the dream client connection?
Well, the dream client connection I would say, what's the difference between the avatar, the niche, and the dream client?
Right.
The connection part of it is, we'll talk about that separately, but I want to really define what those differences are first. So I'll start with the avatar, because that's where everybody understands, or they know that word. And the biggest mistake that I see, and I went down this rabbit hole as well, so I'm not blaming anybody, but when I realized that we are not marketing to the avatar, which means I'm speaking to a guy who's 45 to 55, who's a bodybuilder, who is blah, 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 right? That's all cool, but it's not like every time I would ask somebody, who's your ideal client at the time and whatever, they would say, it's this person, it's 45, makes 100,000, whatever. And I said, you're not marketing to that person. And I started listening to what I was telling these people. You're not marketing to that person, because what's the very first thing when you talk to somebody about an avatar, and they'll say, or you say to them, you need to specify, you need to be very specific of an avatar. What's one of the things that they will come back with as an objection?
Everyone's my avatar.
Yeah, I can't. I've done the avatar thing, and it's not just a man who's 45 to 55, right? I have all these other people,
right?
Which then, as I was listening to myself say, "You're right," but, and then the but was, wait a second, it's an audience, right? So the audience, or whatever you want to call it, the niche, market, audience, group, whatever you want to call it, tribe, is a collection of people who have the same commonalities. And there's a difference here. Again, I want to speak to that too, is different commonalities, but they're going to the same place. They all want the same thing. And then the avatar is the person, the representative in our mind, the character, which is exactly what they talk about, right? Like, create this person you're going to speak to and all that. That's all right. But it's that character. So your character, show your character. It's Bob Michaels, right?
Bob Michaels.
So that's your character who you're speaking to in your mind. That doesn't mean that somebody like me is not going to buy from you, but you're speaking to Bob Michaels, and Bob Michaels and maybe me want the same thing.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the audience, and that's where the difference of the audience is. Now that's all fine and dandy, but then you define it even further.
Let me stop you for 1 second, Joey. Because at that point, yes, we're talking to that avatar, that person that you said, the age, the income, that's only the small part of it. Now continue on. Now we have to go deeper, because that's just talking in the generalities. Even though we're talking to that person, now we have to bring the languaging in, which is the most important part.
That's right. So you're speaking not. I don't really speak to the demographics. I
Right.
speak to the psychographics, which still the audience has. The Bob Michaels have that psychographic as well, like their tendencies, their what they think of, what they believe, all that thing.
Yeah.
Those are all important, right? And so I'm speaking to those people. And however, in my mind, it's like mine is Sarah. Like everybody knows that my avatar, if you want to call it, is Sarah. I'm speaking to that person, and she's in my mind when I'm speaking to her. That resonates with guys. It resonates with people out of her bracket range and all that. But it's in my mind. Okay, so that's important. And then in the languaging part, yes, it's important to know how to speak to them to draw them in. So that conversation, which is where the connection piece comes in now, which is how do I speak to those people? And if you want to define it even further, where that dream client lies is in that 4%. So what we've done is we've taken the market and we've said, give me the 20%. These are the people. We talk about this all the time, right, Scott? Is you don't market to everybody, market to someone's, a group of someone's. And we've taken the whole market and we've said, give me the 20%. And those are the audience, the big market, the niche. And that's totally cool. But then we take it even further. We niche down again and we say, give me the 20% of those people. And that leaves us with the 4%, which are the dream clients, the people who we're going after, the people who are not going to question what we're doing. It's an easy sale and all these other things we can talk about when we're talking about dream clients, but it's niching down from the first niche. It's saying these are the audience. Now there's dream clients within that. Now, I'm sure you have questions about the dream client that we can talk about.
Yes. My first question is, what is the dream client? You're using that term for somebody that's either heard it or not familiar with it. What is a dream client and why should I care?
Okay, so this is a great question. And the way that I can easily describe this is that your dream client is like your best friend, like in business. So every time I put that out into helping people identify their dream client, that one kind of resonates with them because it's like you want to hang out with a dream client. And the way that it is for me and what I teach in Atlas and what we'll be teaching next week in Dream Client Connection and all this is that you want to be with this person. Like you want to invite them over to a barbecue. You're not going to, cross the street when you see them coming down that side to avoid them. No, you're going to run up and hug them. Like these are people that you just love to be with, regardless if they're paying you. Like the payment has nothing to do with it. It's not because they're being paid or you're being paid that you love to hang out with them. It's like having someone that you would love to talk to, love being with, laugh, cry, all that stuff, and you were stuck on a desert island with these people. Who are those people? And this is not, it's more than the demographics part, right? It's more than, you're not going to say, well, you have to have $100,000 in order to be stuck on the desert island with me for us to resonate. That doesn't make any sense. It's about more than that. It's a deeper connection. That's why we call it Dream Client Connection. We are connected on so many different levels. So I'll leave it there. Maybe you have some input or questions there, and then we'll keep going.
More questions than input.
Okay.
Let's get rid of the who. It's been taught out there. We've known for many years, and we've learned that it's about getting the sale. It's about the Facebook campaign and the AdWords and all of these things and autoresponders that we joke about. But Joey, I don't have this and this and this and this and this and all these things set up.
Right.
And people are being duped into believing that they have to have all of these things in place before. Who should be thinking about the dream client? Who should adopt the mentality, the philosophy of a dream client into their life, into their business?
Now we're going to the everyone funnel, right? So it's like that's a really great question. And I think that anybody who is building that online business is going to benefit from this because I see it all the time where they try that wide funnel and they try to bring people in and chase leads. And unfortunately, a lot of those whatever you want to call them, launches or webinars or anything like that, end up with 0 sales or very little sales, or they're pulling teeth to do it. And so they will benefit, like anybody who's doing that and has to provide a service. But the whole thing is, for me, it's about heart-centered people. Like, you need to care and must care about your audience and your clients. That's first and foremost for me, because if you don't care, then the dream client means nothing to you. Like, you're like, yeah, you're full of crap, bro. Just put these people in, sell them something, and I'm on to the next one. So it is now, we're taking a part of the market and we're splitting it into 50-50, I guess, here, because there's a bunch of awesome heart-centered people in the world. And unfortunately, there's just money-driven people. So I separate them into money-driven or mission-driven. And we're mission-driven. You and I are both mission-driven. And the mission needs money. The mission needs a lot of money in order for it to continue. And the dream clients help you fund the mission, and everybody wins because they're getting what they want. And can I speak to the landing page thingy and all that stuff for a second?
Sure, go.
Imagine if you met this dream client in a bar and they were talking, and basically they said, I've got this problem. And you ended up to say, I got the solution for it, and I'd love to show you. And they're like, great. When you got 10 minutes now, we can go over there and have some French fries and I can show you. They're not going to say, wait a second, where's your office? I don't like what you're wearing. Whatever, you know what I mean? We're not in the right place, right? You're saying to them, I can help you and fix this right now for you. When's the easiest place for you to do that? When can we talk about it? They don't care about the atmosphere. You agree?
Right. Well, I agree totally and completely. If they're in pain, discomfort, and that's what they're frustrated and stressed and anxious and nervous and awake at night, and the problem is this, and you say, hey, I can help you. Give me 10 minutes. They're going to be like, it goes to the cheese. Yeah, I'll cancel 10 minutes. You can help me fix that. That's exactly.
Right. And by the way, guys, please ask questions about your dream client or dream clients or anything here. Please, we'd like to answer for you as well. Scott and I are going to be doing Dream Client Connection next Thursday. So this is kind of a blatant promotion for it, but just to also intertwine help with you and your dream clients, even if you're not joining us on that. That's totally cool. So, but we want to talk about the dream client because it comes up every single day.
Joey, it's also, I'll give you credit for my thought, because it's almost a continuation of your whole Atlas philosophy.
Yeah.
Because you said to me the other day, bro, I got to write an email for this, and I got to write some copy. And then I was like, wait a second, let's just get on it. Let me ask you some questions and do this. And then just say, hey, go watch the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got it down to where, look, go check out the Google Doc. If you like it, great. I got room for you. If not, hey, whatever. And it's like, hey, go watch the video. That's it. It's like you sent an email out the other day. I think it was just that. You had one of the interviews you did, and you just said, hey, go watch this video. In fact, I believe that video that you shared was with Kimmy Sellers Brown.
Yeah.
That was just, how did Dream Client and Atlas kind of change her life?
Yeah, she talks a lot about that. And how that was one of the mindset shifts and blocks as well. Because again, like, one of the biggest things that when I talk about dream clients or Atlas or anything that like Dream Client Connection, it's fair that people have the objection of, I've already done avatar work. I already know it. And I get that. But as we're talking about here, it's much deeper. And the reason that most people aren't connecting with their market is because they're stuck on the avatar level. So it's kind of like looking at the iceberg. You don't see below like that, right? So we're going way into deep into the sea, and we're really defining what are the core elements of this dream client. How can you communicate with them on a level beyond just the surface level stuff, that they feel your energy, they feel your passion, they feel your everything, and the sale is no longer there. And you know this, Scott, I talk to you almost every day, and you know this, but for the benefit of everybody listening, pretty much every day, I'll have a conversation and they'll tell me, this is awesome, you've been great, and I don't even feel pressure. I'm like, thank you. That's exactly my point. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. Or even if I'm not trying to accomplish, that's just how I live. So
Well, that's part, Joey, of your whole Atlas Dream Client philosophy, is that you're serving, you're helping, you're heart-centered, you're not selling. You don't need to. They buy on their own. I need to go back to something. You talked
go ahead.
about blocks.
Yeah.
You were saying, like with Kim, that there was a block. What are the blocks that people are experiencing? Your dream client. What are the people out there like? What's their pain, frustration? What's the block from where they are to accepting dream client kind of philosophy?
I'm going to answer that one, then I'm going to go back to Kim because I totally went off track.
Yeah, you did.
With your first question.
Right.
So
that was the third question, not the first.
The block is what I already alluded to, which is I've already done Avatar,
right?
And it's not working, or my funnel's broken, or my landing page is broken, or whatever, my ads this, or the sales page doesn't look great. It's that they do a little bit of Avatar work, like the exercise to get through the lesson and click, I've done this lesson, and then that's it. And then they don't do any more of that work, and they're focused on the funnel pieces, like the mechanics of things, when that's not what it is. It's about who's the person, and where's the connection part of it. We're always talking about that connection. Is who am I resonating with, and how can I connect with these people to serve them? And that's what they're missing. That's the block. But they think they have it. It's kind of like, I always like this example because I think Jeff Walker was, I think, the one who said it, or maybe it wasn't him, or somebody in Jeff Walker's community with the product launch formula and stuff, that it's so a staple in the industry, right? For how many years now? I don't know. But when people see a product launch happening, and you're not inside of it, you're like, oh, I get it. I'm just going to do 3 videos, and then I'm going to do a sales thing, and then I should make a whole bunch of money.
Right, but drive traffic from Facebook ads, and it'll automatically.
Well, they don't even think that. They're just like, whatever. Yeah, but even if they go that step, they're like, okay, I got it. But they're looking at the service. They don't know behind the scenes and beside, like, what's happening. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to knowing who your dream client is and what they want. Because when you understand that part of it, it's easy to connect with people. It's easy to sell because you don't even have to sell, because you've already made the connection. All you're now doing is waiting for the right moment, which is their moment, not our moment.
What happens to your landing pages and your opt-ins and your emails when you understand the dream client?
Well, if you're doing it the Atlas way, they're gone.
No, I understand that. I'm just, for some people who might be watching saying, well, I got to fix my landing page. Well, that could be valid. What does it do to the languaging when you understand this whole connection?
It improves it like 1,000%, because now you're calling out to the dream client only. So it's like if you drive a whole bunch. I've seen places, or people will say, I've got like, I don't know, 1 million people coming to my landing page, and only like a couple of percent are opting in. And so how do I fix that? Well, you don't fix the landing page. You probably got to fix where the traffic is coming from in the first place, which means you're not speaking to dream clients. And then they think they're speaking to dream clients because they've done avatar work, right? So if you're speaking to a dream client, they're the one, when they come to, let's say, even a landing page, that means you should be getting 85% opt-in. Like large opt-in when they come to your, like, you know what I mean? You saw some of the landing pages that I have, which are the grossest things ever. And they're like 65%. And that's not even talking dream client yet. I'm still talking close to the dream client, but those are still like, okay, well, but it's a very specific thing that's gets 65% opt-in every single day. So imagine if I actually put some thought into those things and said, okay, I want to get these things over here. But as I said, I dropped all the, for these other dream client things, there is no opt-in page.
When you talked earlier about blocks, and we just talked a little bit more about the blocks that people have, the objections. I've already done the avatar work. I already know who it is. I need to move on and get to all the other stuff. what was the shift that you're seeing that people are like, holy, well, okay, maybe I do have to go back. You said there was a shift. What was that shift?
Yeah, it's like with Kim and so many others. It was
Yeah.
looking at everything that I'm teaching is the fact of the dream client is so different from the avatar is because it allows you to it forces you actually to repel most of the market, and what it does is it opens your eyes to working with people that you love and want to work with rather than just clients. And that shift is huge. It's like I say to everybody in Atlas that why would you want to spend the rest of your life working with people you don't want to be around? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I get it that, well, I got to make money and I got to do this. I get it. We've all sacrificed. We've all done what we have to do. But those have to do situations, Scott, I find that people spend decades in that have to do thing, and they're sacrificing their life. So I'm not saying never ever, well, like, this is what I got to do to keep the lights on. I totally get that. However, if you want to build a business that you just are energized and love to do and get up and would do it whether you're paid or not,
Right.
that's where dream clients come in. And that's the shift. So the shift is it's not about the dream client first, it's about you first. And that's where, like, holy crap, what does that mean?
Right. You first. That's that. I want to come back to that, but I want to come back to something you said because we're
Jumping around, but it's all good.
That's okay. You said repel more than you attract. What do you mean by that?
The more you repel, the more you attract. So the more you say, I don't do these things, it automatically says to the people or the market or whoever, or what you do, it stands out more. Right. So it's kind of like going to, I don't know, an all-in-one mechanic shop or something that do everything. And that's fine. But then you go, these guys only do whatever. They only, whatever it is. I'm not a mechanic, dude. A bad example. But, they only do one thing and they do it really well. Oil changes. Okay. That's it. Like, that's why you have these oil change thingies, these that's all they do. And they do it the best with the best oil and whatever. And the fastest, right? So they've marketed that, and they don't do anything else. So, that we don't do anything else. And when you want an oil change fast, you're going to go to that place. Right. And that's what we're doing. We're repelling everything else. We don't do all of these things so that you could charge even more and people just see you, that you stand out like a beacon. Like, you've got this red light over here, and your dream clients see that. And everybody else says, I don't like red. I hate red. And you're like, nope, this is red. I'm going to shine my red light even more.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing. And people are afraid of that. They're saying, well, if I do that, I'm going to lose part of this market. Well, that's because you are going to lose it. But why would you work with people again that are hard to deal with, that you have to convince to buy from you and all this other stuff? Whereas if you work with a small market over here, people who want to work with you, who need the problem, who have the shark bites and all this and need to get it fixed, and you stand up and say, I can fix that, just for you, immediately you are non-commoditized, right, Scott? I mean, even if you were selling milk, you go, I have milk, and you're like, well, so what? I can buy milk anywhere. But if you say, well, okay, this milk is for prenatal women, right away the milk is different.
Organic, non-pasteurized, blah 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 for prenatal women. It's like, oh my God.
Exactly. Right away, that person's going to pay more for that milk.
I'm going to jump back to a concept of starting with yourself first. And I know we had a conversation in the last couple of days about it, of why would you change your routine? If your dream client is, if you work best at a certain time of the day, then your dream clients are hanging out with you at that certain time of day. And if they can't hang out with you, then they're not your dream client. Speak to starting with you before.
Go ahead. You're another part of it.
You speak to that. Why do that's foreign, Joey? I thought it was always supposed to be about them first. Now you're telling me I need to to talk about me first? I thought I'm supposed to sacrifice in this and do anything to get the funnel. 100,000 people in so that X number of percent click and X number of percent convert. And you're just kind of going right to the base and going, wait a second, get rid of all that stuff and just find. Let's say that you had 200 to 300 people, that's it. And you had a program that was $5,000 and you had 200 of them take advantage of that $5,000 program. That's $1 million. You don't need a list of 700,000 so that maybe you get a 2.4% purchase rate, which is the acceptable industry number. And if you didn't get, it's like, you know what? Go find a bunch of dream clients that'll pay you money because they have it, and then you can do what you do. Why should I start with me first, Joey?
Yeah, you hit a lot of great points there, man. I love that you said, find dream clients that have the money. That's important too. And it's part of it. And what just before I answer that question is one thing I want to also plant in someone's mind watching this is that, there's a lot of businesses that are like $250 million businesses that are whatever, they're bringing in 250 million. But then there's $250,000 businesses who are way more successful and way more healthy than those other businesses, because the owners are still basically operating the business, but they're happy because they're not working around the clock. They don't have all this red tape. They don't have all these moving components and departments and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's just like, you know what? I'm happy because I get up and every quarter I'm meeting with 15, 20 people and helping them through, and I make $250,000. Like, who wouldn't want that? Yeah. And if that's all you do, you can be anywhere in the world anyway. So I could go on and on about that, but I just want people to understand that.
It's a difficult concept, Joey, for people to understand who have not been in the online world, the digital economy for a long time, who are in the last year or a few years, there's people that have been around a while, but most people that have been online for years, they've seen everything. All these new people coming online and the proliferation of ads and everything that's being talked about is, you got to do it this way, Guru's way. And here's Guru X. And as we know, they jump from bright and shiny object to this course, to this product, to this webinar, and they end up with debt, and they've not gotten to the most important piece, which is, who's your dream client?
And working with and making it about you. Right. So I want to stay on this for a second, but I want to answer your question about like why it's important for it to be about us, because I want to blow everybody's mind with what you said in terms of the $1 million thing, because we'll come back to that. So please remember that.
I shall.
Okay. Why it's important for us is because this comes back to my mission, Scott. Honestly, that's where it all started. And it was because I watched my dad build the business and sacrifice and grind and everything else. And then he passed away at 60 from cancer. And so at 57, cancer said, dude, like, you better go get a life. And that was the first thing of, holy crap, maybe grinding is not the best thing that we should be doing. Right. And I love him for everything that I learned from him and all that stuff, and learned stuff that we'll never learn in a book. But I also learned that grinding is not the way to do it. And I was grinding. And then, so that's why I hate that word. And so at 45 or whatever it was, I said, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to change my approach. And I want to make this about me. Because when I started coaching people, that's what they were telling me. They were built on this cliche of, I'm going to grind for the first 2 or 3 years to do what nobody else will do, so that I could do what nobody else has or can do later in my life. Right. Something like that. I butchered that whole thing, but they're caught in this mindset that if they work really hard and sacrifice for 3 years, that for the rest of their life, they'll have everything they want. And that's BS. We both know that. And it goes on for decades. And so they're sacrificing their life. And that's what I was seeing. So that's when I made this shift of, no, I'm going to make this about me, because most people build their business around their life, right? It's like I've only got a couple minutes. I can stay with the kids for a couple minutes, or they're eating dinner and they're looking at they're refreshing their PayPal, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And there's like you're not there with the kids. So it was like, let's build the business around me. And that was the first step is what do I want my life to look like? And then because all of us want freedom, if I asked anybody listening to this right now, what do you want your dream week to look like, your dream day? How many hours do you want to work?
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody's going to say 0. I don't want to work any hours.
Yeah.
Right. But let's be real. Okay. So, okay, fine. It can't be 0. What do you want to work a day? So let's say the average is 2 hours a day, Scott. Right. Like the point is everybody wants freedom. Right.
Yeah.
But they don't. They don't build freedom into their lives. They add more crap that fills up the hours they don't have. So I said to myself, I want freedom. And you know my schedule, right?
Yep.
And so it's like I only want to work 4 hours a day for 4 days a week. That's it. That's the thing. And the mornings are for nobody. So the afternoons are for me. So basically it's a 16-hour week. I work more hours than that. I don't want everybody to think like, holy crap, this guy's, 16 hours, but still, those are my working hours. Right. And I said, how can I now build my business around those 16 hours to make an awesome living, give to communities and all this other kind of stuff, right? And not sacrifice my life. And so that was the genesis of it. It was like, how do I do this? And then looking at all the methods of the product ladders and all these other things, or one-on-one coaching, and it's like, okay,
Joe,
this is going to be real tough.
What I think is really important in the dream client connection piece here is it starts with your ideal life being created first, and then
Yes.
the client comes into your ideal life.
Right.
And you had suggested I watch Jim Carrey's commencement speech to the Maharishi University, and I did. And one of things he said, and I'll just paraphrase it, was you can fail, and most often do, at what you don't like or what you don't want to do. You go
Right.
to a job and you fail, you get fired, you quit, you failed, you're miserable. Why not do what you love, whether you're going to fail or not? Just why do that? Let's go back to, you said you want to come back to the $1 million thing.
Yeah. So you said it's about 200 people at $500,000, $5,000, right?
That's
For a
the low
program.
price. I'm talking low numbers, not like 50 grand a year, 100 people. Now you're talking. But
that's okay.
Let's just talk small numbers. $5 grand.
Like that's totally cool because everybody can wrap their head around that. Everybody can wrap their head around $5,000. Okay. Now let's call it a simple thing like a whole year program.
Yeah.
Let's say for the whole year you have a client who pays you $5,000. Okay. You said it's only 200 people, which is totally doable.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do that. I shouldn't say easy, but it's simple to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I want to reference back to what I teach them in Atlas, when I show them the fast track to $100,000. And really, it's only 67 people,
right,
at $1,500. Okay, a $1,500 program, selling it to 67 people will give you 100 grand. So it's not that difficult to do that over a year. Now you break that down even further, and you say that's only 17 people or so. Right. Every quarter, every 3 months, okay, and that is not a lot of people, Scott. As opposed to the funnels and all the other stuff, bringing in the hundreds of thousands, weeding out the one person. So if you're focused on how do I get 17 dream clients every 3 months, my God, your world changes, because all you're doing is speaking to the dream client, and you're out there doing your pre-fluence and all the stuff we talked about in Atlas, all the stuff we will talk about in Dream Client Connection next week, is those little elements of speaking to the dream clients so that they know you're the benefit, and then they connect with you. They're on that connection level. And it's just that invite into the program that you're doing. So you can make that $1 million if you wanted to. So instead of doing the $1,500 thing that I'm saying and make 100,000, then do the other thing and say, well, this is a year-long program, $5,000. You start out with whatever, 10, 15, 20 people. I would be totally happy with that. I would be totally happy with 20 people paying me that at this start. And then you build every year.
Yeah.
But you're doing the same thing, Scott, right? Your business is like, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like a good Groundhog Day.
Exactly. You're right. Let me ask you about Dream Client Connection. What is the program? Let's get into the features mode for a minute here. What is Dream Client Connection? Somebody gets in on the program. What is it? What do they get?
Yeah. What they're going to get is 4 weeks with you and me.
Okay.
Which is awesome. So that it's live,
Yep.
training and Q&A and answering and helping them understand who their dream client is. So they're going to learn the simplicity of what we're talking about. What is the difference between the avatar and the dream client, and why is it important? And then how to find those dream clients, like where are they and how do you connect with those people so that your offer, they're going to say yes to your offer. Like that's the promise of the program. It
sounds too easy. Sounds too simple.
Right. It is. And that's
teach me how to live the ideal life, a dream life, find my dream client with money that's going to pay me so that I could only put in the number of hours I really want to do. And if I want to make 150 grand, it's not going to be that difficult. Is that what you're telling me?
The Dream Client Connection part of it is the lead in to what you said, because let's be honest, that Atlas is that whole program that teaches you the entire thing. The Dream Client Connection is the introduction to what is a dream client and how do I connect with them, because that's the problem that people have right now. And I don't want to overwhelm people with Dream Client Connection.
No.
Right. So I want to be very focused on, let's define who the dream client is for you so you understand it, so that when you do whatever it is you want to do, whether you want to follow the Atlas plan or not, or whether you want to make a funnel and a pipeline or whatever, it will still increase your odds. If you're not going to follow the Atlas plan, you're still going to be able to write way better copy and landing pages and all that, because you're identifying now what that dream client wants and how to pull that information out of the universe and say, here's who my person is.
At the end of 4 weeks, what's the transformation? What am I going to walk away with? If I just said, I'm good, what do I have?
You're okay. So you're going to be absolutely clear on the dream client, who it is and what they want. And you're going to be able to, which in terms of the what they want part is important, because that's another big problem. Whereas, what do I offer these people? And you're going to know that. And that's important. So you'll be able to have at least the clarity on who the person is, what they want, and then how to connect with them. Like how to find them and connect with them and what they want. I mean, that's the 3 things that you're going to get from this. Being very clear on that.
I will know who my dream client is, what they care about, what they need, and then how to connect with them.
Yes, and what they need is the most important thing. Like the dream, they're all important. They're all very important.
Right.
But it's like, okay, I understand this dream client, but if you don't understand what exactly they must have, it's not what they want. I should get that out of my vocabulary. Right. It's what they must solve that you, with your superpowers, can jump in and say, I'm the guy or I'm the gal, right? That can help you do this thing. And then the next part is, well, how do I connect with them? Like, how do I do that part of it without all the stuff that we see out there, all the cold outreach stuff and, the BS. It's like, how do you get people to just come into your world and say, how can I give you money?
And how much is the program?
$5.99.
That's it?
Yeah, man. For 4 weeks with us.
Holy crap.
Yeah, dude.
And of course.
Did I not tell you that?
I'm sure you did. I was not focused on small numbers like that, Joey.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude. It's like.
Okay, Joey, it's at the end of 4 weeks, I know who my dream client is and I know what they must have. I truly understand that. and I know how to connect with them. What do I do with that now?
Yeah, well, that's where you start using the Prefluence part of it. You start connecting with them. Like that's that's why Dream Client Connection is built the way it is. It's like,
And I can start connecting with people now. I can go out there. People are I don't have to sell people, because all of this effort I put in these 4 weeks to really defining them and finding out what they need and connecting with them, then it just makes everything easy, because you're not relying on the mechanisms of automation and the tech stuff.
Yeah, it's the beginning piece of the connection of connecting with dream clients. So I don't want to oversell it, because Atlas is the whole thing, whereas this dream client connection is the first part of understanding the part about the business we talked about. Why do I need dream clients? What's the difference of them, and why is the business so important, and why is it going to change my life, and why am I struggling with avatars and not selling anything? Like, all those things will come to fruition. Like, it'll be an eye-opening. It's like you're seeing the Matrix. You will never unsee this once you see it, right? And it's like, do you want to step into the Matrix now? That's the key. So after Dream Client Connection, it's like, I got it. Do you want to take the red pill, or do you want to take the blue pill? Which way do you want to go? So it's not a waste of time. It's more like, okay, I got this, but you know what? I want to go this other way and start paying ads and doing whatever you want to, whatever. And it's totally fine, because you've learned something that those other people don't understand, because they're on the avatar level.
Exactly. And you'll have all of that information. Kind of my thing is, I want to know your mission statement. I want to know your escalator speech. I want your vision statement, and I want your exit strategy before I will engage in a project. I need to know those. And I used to say last was the avatar. Now it's before I can write a mission statement or an escalator speech or determine the vision of the company or the brand. I need to know who that dream client is and be able to do exactly what it is we're going to teach.
Yeah, because it's still, the avatar is the top. You could still do an online business with an avatar, whatever. But what we're talking about here is having a business with the most awesome people, and having a life, and not being against the wall 24/7. That's, me, that, like, I love my sleep, right? So I don't want to be like that, and I'm lazy. So I wanted to build a business that was around my life, that I could just take a break and go watch Seinfeld for 4 hours if I want to. So and that's not the dream, the laptop lifestyle. I still work a lot, and I put in a lot of hours, but I put in hours of connecting with people.
Well, you love that. It's not grind. It's not like,
no,
I have all these things I have to do in order to, and no, hon, I've got to stay up until tonight, or I'll get the kid, or, and you end up giving it up, and it just doesn't have to be that way.
No, and it all comes back to that dream client piece, which is why, when we do this next week together, we have a great group already. And I encourage anybody who's listening to this, if you're struggling with, connecting with your market, or however you describe it, I believe, and have proven it already now to countless people, that it is because of the dream client, that is the key, the missing key. And you may have heard it before, and there's all kinds of different things out there about dream clients or avatars or ideal clients and things. It's just that I take this to another level, and everybody that comes in there gets it. Like, and even Kim said it. She said, when I bought Atlas, it was more like, I thought it was just going to be regurgitated stuff. But then when she saw the application of it, and how I was describing why the dream client is so important and what it is, that's what changed her world. And what she make, like over $50,000 just by focusing on a dream client.
And the sales page, they admitted, was crap.
Yeah.
We threw it together. Joey, let me go back to who should be taking Dream Client Connection from a standpoint. I know we said heart-centered business people. And we're talking about, just get, this many people at 1,500, at 2,000. What if somebody's like, well, I only have like a $27 ebook, or I only have a $99 product. I don't have this, 2,000, 5,000 course program, cohort, training, whatever. How is this important for them?
That's a good question. I'm just going to close my window here.
Don't you have an automated button that does all that stuff for you, Joey?
I wish I did. Like bang! Look at look at me. Somebody's cutting the grass out there. I don't know if you heard that or not, but whatever. It's a really great question, and I think that we decided to do Dream Client Connection for those people because Atlas is more about the group thing and premium price. And so this is kind of like where I build, the product ladder opposite. So instead of saying, well, I only have this Atlas thing, if you're not doing a group, it's not really going to help you by selling a $29 book or something like that. Like, this is useless to you. But there's the component of the Dream Client that will help those people sell their book faster. So I think it will benefit them, and it will benefit even people who are looking at premium price. So it's kind of the introduction to everything, but they've already done the avatar work and they're already struggling. So those are the people that are going to benefit. It's anybody who's trying to sell that thing online and it's not resonating because they're not speaking to the right person. And it's mainly because they have these wide funnels. They're just like, it's right. They're not, it just comes down to they're not speaking to the right person. And it may even say to somebody who is thinking about or wrote a book or ebook or something, I don't know, and make them rethink what they want to do. So it will save them a whole bunch of time in the future to build and they build a program that never sells. So this will rethink them, and it's kind of it's the trajectory. It's kind of like when Tony Robbins, I always remember that one thing I learned way back at 16, 17 years old, that he said, that one shift, he goes, I'm here to just do that 1% or 0.1% shift. And in 20 years, you'll be like way over here from that 1% little thing. That's what I want for anybody who's taking Dream Client Connection.
Joey, would you agree with this statement? Anybody that's selling any product, service, message, or idea who is heart-centered, wants to live a purpose-driven life, should take Dream Client Connection.
But yeah, you summed it up beautifully. That's who it is. It's because as well as I do, it's this thing. Every course that you start when you buy online, they all start with an avatar, some kind of an avatar exercise. Okay. So if that's true, and you're buying all these courses that need the avatar and it's not working for you, I'm not saying the avatar doesn't work. I'm not dissing courses or anything like that, but it's part of the foundation, right? Of building the business. Then what you just said is absolutely perfect, because then I want Dream Client to be that thing that is the foundational piece. Like, you need to know a Dream Client. And like you said, if you're heart-centered, if you're that person, because we both know that there's two sides of the marketplace, and it's not about the money-driven people.
I have studied over the years, many, you and I both, read seminars, live events, and I'll throw out, learning the avatar from the Frank Kerns and the Brendan Richards and the Gary Halberts and the Dan Kennedys, and just the list goes on of that, and putting it into practice and reading. And I even went and data mined, and I've got the demographic, psychographic perfectly for a segment of our audience. The Dream Client Connection piece is so much more powerful than all of that. And how you came to grow this into what it is, to enable people to get past those blocks of that, well, I already know who my age, income, etc. avatar is, but you don't know who your dream client is, and you're going about it the wrong way. That's why what you've created is simply not only brilliant, just easy, and then people then really get to live a life that they want because they're serving. And I want to thank you for bringing this to the world and allowing me to be a part of it with you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate you and you being a part of it as well. And you know, to that point, you know, if I don't know if you saw Susan Chen, who's in Atlas and Dream Client Connection as well. She posted in the group about, you know, my door's open for everybody.
Yeah.
If you ever want to join us in LA and New York and all this, and that's what I'm talking about, where the entire tribe, everybody that I work with in this community are people that I would in an instant go meet. And you know me, I'm an introvert. I don't do those type of things. But if any one of those people said, I'm here, or would you want to meet? Like, it would be like a no-brainer. Like, this is awesome. I just want to hang out with these people. And to me, that's what Dream Client is. And that's one of the things that I bring back to my dad, because, you know, when he was building the business and I saw the differences, and it wasn't called Dream Clients back then, but it was about loyal clients, right? And it was the difference between loyal and repeat. And I would see people at my house all the time. Like almost every week, there'd be somebody sitting having dinner with us. Yeah. And I realized that my dad had a friendship with clients and as well the business side of it. And there's people out there who will disagree with that you can't be friends with your clients. And I completely disagree with that, because I saw it build. And I saw what it did for my dad's company and how one of them bailed him out one time for payroll and all this other kind of stuff. But that was I think that was the real genesis of it. It was like, no, I want to be friends with my clients. I want them. And then we both understand that there is that line of, now I'm the client, now I'm talking to you as a friend. And it's an awesome thing. Like, you know, that we can cross the line, and we both know, in a good way, we're crossing the line, and we both know where we stand in that context. And it's just so amazing. And I just want everybody to have that relationship and that ability and that connection with all of their clients in their business.
So Joey, what is the very complex registration process and funnel that one must go through to get involved in the Dream Client Connection program?
DM me the word dream.
DM Joey Ragona the word dream, and that's it. It's pretty much it.
That's it.
I think you need to make it simpler, Joey. It's a little bit too complicated for me.
DM the word dream. Scott is going to be there next week, starting September 9th. If you are interested in Dream Client Connection, thank you for spending time with me and asking me all these questions about it, Scott. It's amazing.
You're welcome, Joey. Thank you for being with me this afternoon.
This is always fun. Thank you.
It always is.
Cheers.